completing your taxes is not topping any list of fun things to do, but it can come with a refund that, if used wisely, will pay off big time in the long run. Here with me, giving us expert advice on smart ways to use your refund, is Colin Evans from Evans Financial Group. Well, Colin, tax refunds are a great financial boost. Let's break down why paying off debt and other tips are important in mind this tax season.
It's, for one, it's beginning of the year, and a lot of folks end up with that holiday kind of expense hovering back over them. It's like maybe we overextended our budgeting, and we look at things like that, and some things are on those high interest credit cards. Let's maybe take a stab at knocking out some of this high interest stuff first. I know it's a tough thing to do, to be diligent with that, because a check comes in, it could be a sizable number. It's like, hey, what can we do with this? What can we do with this? And it's, kind of being a good steward of our funds. And that's just one of the things. It's like the first thing that we typically recommend is their debt that is structure that we need to look at getting rid of. One of the second things that we kind of gear, and we move right into this, and we actually talked about this recently, is let's build that emergency fund. Let's put that back, and let's use that in case that water heater goes out or something in the car happens. And it's like that stuff seems to happen in threes that we've seen before. And that's a great time to have that in reserve, so we're not having to dip into those credit card accounts or those credit card funds. And some other things that we can look at is, this could be a great time if those things aren't are already taken care of. This could be an outstanding time to look at investing in your own future. It could be putting money into your own IRAs, and for you and maybe your spouse, or even looking at child education. Those college 529 plans are something that parents can look at for down the road. Say, hey, we actually started saving these tax returns, and this will help us out down the road with our kiddos' education, as well as us not having to fork out, hopefully, as much money for that education.
Hopefully, Colin, who knows?
Yes, hopefully, correct. In this day and age, the way that things are costing us today.
Right. Plan ahead now.
Another good one that we see, and this is a very big one that comes across, is, hey, it's time that we can make some house improvements. Let's look at the kitchen might be outdated, and it could be time to refix, or we're putting that backyard patio in, and the outdoor grill area, maybe even the pool, depending on the size of that return.
I know. I'm thinking about the size of it. I'm like, geez, Colin, how much are you talking about?
I haven't ever been that lucky. I usually owe every year, so that's I don't know what a tax return is anymore. But that's that's a good thing that you could look at. And one of the final things that we really get to encourage people to do after they've kind of structured and they've been diligent with all this, go have fun. Go spend it on yourself. Go take, maybe take a trip. It could be something that you planned for. It could be, a short weekend excursion, or a hot springs, or a New Orleans, or something like that. But treat yourself. That's an okay thing to do in this day and age with those funds. That is a blessing, when we get to see that back. Unfortunately, I think everybody's got their own opinions on taxes. It's like there's two things that are certain in life. That's death and taxes. And a lot of us are under the agreements that Uncle Sam doesn't always do a great job on what we've given him so far. And it's like, what? Treat yourself with it. When those funds come back to you, it might be a good time to treat yourself with some of that.
That's right. Oh, you make some good points there. But specifically, one of my favorite things is building those emergency funds. Right? We talk about those, but I'm such a sucker because I feel like I need like 10 emergency funds for everything. And that makes me happy to have those in those, because, like you said, they do come in those threes, and things can be really expensive, especially if you own a home.
It is, yeah, and especially we've seen it. I had a big one occur to me this past year, actually two back to back, and as we've seen, they've come in threes. When we had that storm roll through, I had part of my fence fell down and had to get that repaired. Then I had an air conditioning issue, and it ended up being, it's like, okay, great, now I got to spend a couple $1,000s to have an entire actually new unit brought in. Fortunately, I didn't have to put that on. No, they're not. It's not anymore. Not anymore. And having those reserve funds made it much easier for me to be able to go, hey, I can go ahead and just fix this and not have to go into a credit card and have to worry about a high interest loan to cover these expenses.
Yeah, we talked about Christmas funds too. Colin, have you started doing that?
I have not started doing that. We just got through it, and I think some of us are still, maybe licking the wounds a
Hey,
little bit.
I like to start early, okay? That way I don't have to lick those wounds, okay? All right.
I'm surprised my daughter hasn't started handing me, what's coming up for this Christmas list, but her birthday's coming up.
Her birthday, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Not Christmas. We'll just go straight to the birthday.
Right,
Valentine's Day, Easter. Don't forget about those, Dad.
Those are right behind it, too.
All right. Well, thank you, Colin, for being here today and for talking to us about all things taxes, and we will see you on Wednesday.